With Avengers Doomsday hitting theaters this December, I thought, why not rewatch the MCU from the beginning? So in this video, I will be reviewing Iron Man. Iron Man hit theaters in 2008, grossed over $500 million at the box office, and launched the juggernaut that we know as the MCU today. I remember watching this movie when it came out in theaters. I didn't know much about Marvel at the time. I've always been more of a DC guy. My only introduction to Marvel was, the Raimi trilogy, some of the Hulk movies, and the X-Men movies. So watching the MCU over the last 18 years has introduced me to so many new characters and storylines I just wasn't familiar with. I can only pray that James Gunn in the DCU can reach somewhat of the heights of the MCU.
In your dreams, Alfred.
I truly think the MCU is one of, if not the best cinematic universes we will ever see, and its popularity backs that up. While I do believe it has fallen off since Endgame, but I'll leave those thoughts for another video. Enough preamble though, let's get into what worked and what didn't work in Iron Man. Side note, the movie does begin with the OG Marvel logo, but also the Paramount logo. I completely forgot that this movie was a Paramount production. I just thought that was interesting, what with Paramount purchasing Warner Brothers recently. Let's kick things off with the obvious. The thing that works the best is Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. It's been said so many times, and I'll repeat it again. He just is Tony Stark. It's a perfect casting. He's arrogant, he's funny, he's charismatic, and he lands the emotional beats in the movie as well. I enjoy how the movie didn't rush Tony's story. The transition from selfish person to hero feels very earned. I think the chemistry between Gwyneth Paltrow and Robert Downey Jr. is a bit underrated, so I just wanted to give them their flowers for that. They do a great job of leaving room for Tony's relationships with Happy, Rhodey, and primarily Pepper to grow. Speaking of Rhodey, Terrence Howard is fine in the role. It's a little weird seeing him when you're so accustomed to seeing Don Cheadle playing the role, and in my opinion, I think Don Cheadle does bring a little bit more to the character than Terrence Howard does, but he does good with what the script gives him. Next, let's talk Jeff Bridges as Obadiah Stane. I think this villain is a little underrated. Not only does he have one of the most memorable lines in the movie,
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps!
But I think that the character serves the movie very well. It makes complete sense that he'd be jealous of Tony, want to take over the company and take him out. I also thought it was really interesting that his whole plan with the 10 rings ended up forcing Tony into becoming Iron Man, which ultimately led to his demise. The writing did very well, making Obadiah feel very threatening while also not making him an over-the-top comic book villain. The movie's CGI and effects hold up really well all these years later. I was always really impressed with the effects that they used on the Iron Man suits. I think that they look really realistic. Lastly, I appreciated that this movie took some pretty bold swings for being the first entry in a franchise. From Tony outing himself as Iron Man at the end, kind of eliminates the whole issue with the secret identity thing that a lot of comic book characters have to deal with. Spider-Man not withholding. S.H.I.E.L.D. is teased at the end and throughout the movie, but it doesn't feel tacked on, and it kind of makes you a little bit more interested to see where they're going and how more of those characters are going to be introduced. The only thing that comes to mind that didn't really work for me was the rush third act / final fight in the movie. Obadiah masters the Ironmonger suit really quickly, and Tony defeats him quickly as well, but those are the only things I can think of that are negative about this movie, if you even really want to call it that. More nitpicky than anything. Overall, I had a great time revisiting Iron Man. It's not one of the MCU movies that I really rewatch all that much, but when I do rewatch it, I thoroughly enjoy it. I would give this movie 4 out of 5 stars. It's a confident origin story that launched the MCU in the right direction and holds up nearly 2 decades later, in my opinion. That about does it for my Iron Man review. What do you guys think of the movie, and what do you think about Robert Downey Jr. being cast as Dr. Doom? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Next up in this series is going to be The Incredible Hulk, so make sure to look out for that one when it comes out. But until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.